Chapter 8, Side by Side. Alan and Dottie are here. We can begin now. These words came from the leader of the Colonial Baptist Church Evangelism Explosion, the EE group in Cary, North Carolina, at the beginning of one of their semesters. I loved hearing our names mentioned together like that. We liked being thought of as partners, and we loved the EE family, a small group of soul winners. Our camaraderie was exhilarating as we came back to the church on Monday nights to report about our adventures in obeying the Great Commission of Matthew 28:19-20. About 6 years earlier, Alan had a strong desire to do EE again after a 20-year break from it. Since we had moved to North Carolina in the intervening time, he did an online search for a location near us that offered the program. When he contacted the Colonial office, we made contact with a Mr. Rich Habeger, who invited us to come to be part, even though we did not attend that church. Rick even came by Falcon Park to an event hosted by our local church to discuss setting up our own EE program, but it did not materialize. At the time of my stroke, we had been involved at Colonial Baptist for about 6 years. Colonial is pastored by the well-known and well-beloved radio preacher Stephen Davey. We had worked side by side in the EE program, in raising our kids, and even in simple trips to the hardware store. After reading Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages, I decided that my Alan perceived love as spending time with him. Sometimes, as he was about to leave to go do an errand, he paused and asked, "Want to go with?" Go with was a term we got from a friend from South Africa. It means go with me. We assume that's how it's done in South Africa. When we use it, it really means, I wish you could go with me. The look on Alan's face so many times said, I want you with me. Thus, Alan and Dottie were usually seen together shopping, doing EE, or attending events. We even have our old funny song that we used to sing to the kids for a laugh, Side by Side. We were committed through all kinds of weather, even if the sky should fall. Just as long as we were together, it didn't matter at all. Housekeeping got put on hold sometimes. Now Alan's sidekick just wanted to sleep a lot, as in 2 naps a day. One thing that concerned Alan was that his work schedule was about to resume. He had been off all summer. He worked only 2 days a week, part-time as a writing coach for Wake Tech Community College, but he didn't want to leave me alone. My legs were still unsteady. He feared I might fall. I suggested he send an email to the ladies in our small group. They responded quickly and took turns spending those afternoons with me when Alan was at work. Usually I had to go take a nap when they were there. They brought food and cleaned my house. It was amazing. And I got to know them better because of the stroke. My insurance provided for physical therapy with a local therapist. One day I was trying to do some of the exercises at home on the carpet between the sofa and the coffee table. I figured I could use the furniture to help myself up. Before I knew it, I was sound asleep on the floor. I decided my brain needed all that sleep as it repaired itself, just as a newborn baby's brain needs hours of sleep as it develops. After a few sessions with a therapist, she told me to switch from the walker to a cane. She was a Christian, and I got to know her because of the stroke. One day, Alan saw one of our neighbors outside. She rarely checks Facebook, but happened to read about my stroke and was shocked. She begged Alan to let her help me in any way possible. He told her about his concerns with leaving me alone. So I called her and asked if she could come stay with me one afternoon. As usual, I had to have a nap while our neighbor was there. When I awoke, she was folding her laundry. Then as we chatted, I told her about my book. Somehow our conversation drifted from the photo of the Bolivian orphans in my book to the famous orphanage director George Mueller of Bristol, England in the 1800s. We got the laptop down and watched the YouTube movie of his life, Robber of the Cruel Streets. She had to get to work but finished the movie later at home. Our friendship grew that day because of the stroke. The next time that neighbor came, she had a copy of my book that she had ordered. She wanted me to autograph it. Then Alan needed to go into the hospital for an overnight procedure in Durham. His brother Ben came and took Alan away from me for the night and left his wife Martha with me. Ben made sure Alan got to the hospital early the next day and back to me after his overnight stay in Durham. Ben and Martha had been married 50 years in 2013, the same year that Alan and I celebrated our 40 years together. Never in those years had Martha and I ever had such bonding time together as those 2 days she stayed with me because of the stroke. She was a wonderful babysitter. When she left, the house was neat again. Sharon had an interesting observation about a positive benefit of the stroke. It provided more time to talk to Mama. So often when our children had been home, I was in the kitchen cleaning up and thinking about the next meal. Now, I sat still long enough to have a conversation. One day we had a phone conversation in which she shared that she could not understand why two of her prayers were so similar but answered completely different. In July, she had prayed that her baby and her mom might both live. Her mother escaped death, but her little one didn't make it. Immediately, I remember struggling with that same issue over 30 years before. Some of the perplexity vanished simply by reading Psalm 68:20 in a different version of the Bible. My King James Version said issues from death, while another version said escapes from death. They belong to God. I did a September blog site account of that revelation after our discussion. It helped Sharon. Perhaps it would help someone else. Also that September, Joel told us that he had ordered an engagement ring. He chose September 18th as the date to propose to Pratty. He wanted more stable employment to be able to support a wife. We all prayed, especially Joel and Pratty, for one of his job applications to come through. His counseling business was unpredictable since it was commission only, and he wanted to drop off his weekend part-time job. Pratty also needed a job because her contract job was coming to a close December 1st. They were about to get some schooling in trusting God. September 18th arrived, and Joel's proposal plans were all in place. He wrote Pratty a special song and took her to an event in a coffee house setting where a friend was the MC. Joel did the song with guitar accompaniment. He may get this romantic tendencies from us. We are incurable romantics. It was exciting, romantic, and definitely starry-eyed. She said yes. Here are the lyrics of the song. Joel's song to Pratty, the proposal song. Every time I see you, I'm reminded of the reason why I'm falling for you. You are the one I wanted more than I ever imagined. You made my dreams come true. There is nowhere else I would rather be than to be with you. There is nothing I want more than to say these words to you. I want to hold you in my arms. I want to be with you night and day. I want to give you all I am. I know it's taken me quite some time to tell you what's going on inside, but I want the best of me to say these words to you. I love you. I can't help but wonder about the way you think of others. You give yourself away. You love in every season. I know you will never leave me. You are here with me to stay. There is nothing I want more than to be with you. There is nothing I want more than to say these words to you. I want to hold you in my arms. I want to be with you night and day. I want to give you all I am. I know it's taken me quite some time to tell you what's going on inside, but I want the best of me to say these words to you. I love you. Every time I see you, I'm reminded of the reason why I'm falling for you. They set their wedding date for December 5th. It would be a short engagement. Arranged marriages in India proceed right along rather quickly, so it did not seem so short to Pratty. That was one wedding I did not want to miss in Washington, D.C.